Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yakub and Victor Hawa, and I'm here to present on ICT and labor productivity. ICT is viewed as a modern innovation that serves as an artificial intelligence to improve the future innovation. That is, the use of computer and internet has aided in producing goods, services, and innovation and aggregates production in ICT sector. Labor productivity is the rate of output per worker in a business per unit of time. However, there has been a literature gap for ICT and productivity in Africa. For this reason, understanding the relationship between ICT and labor productivity in Africa will further broaden the scope in literature. Nigeria is chosen as the African country for this study because it is the highest populated country in Africa and because of availability of data. Previous literature have been reviewed to help understand and relate the theories of this assertion. Chanson 2010 and Lovett 2012 found from their individual studies the significant effect of ICT on workers' productivity. Nonetheless, they figured that the positive impact of ICT in developed nations is far more than that of the developing countries. Lovell 2013 explores the prospects of information communication technology in the capacity building of workers. He deduced that ICT could put an end to individual unproductivity or bring about efficiency. Bench 2013 found that ICT influences development and efficiency both directly and indirectly. Moreover, the author asserts that ICT is to a great extent responsible for the dissimilarities in production efficiency in US and the EU from 1995 to 2005. However, after 2005, a break was observed in US, which decreased the EU and US efficiency gap and subsequently the part of ICT. Their Charles et al. 2015 found that the ICT impacts differ among organizations and emphasized the participation of unskilled labor in the labor force would decline due to replacing workers with ICT tools. Cardona et al. 2013 study adapts both parametric and non-parametric to empirically examine the impact of ICT on productivity at the macro and micro level. He said the impact of ICT differs according to methodological model. Aprahino et al. 2018 realized that Africa was found to be excluded because they had limited information. He suggested that researchers should study more on ICT and workers' productivity in Africa. This study therefore attempts to evaluate the impact of ICT on workers' productivity in Nigeria from 1990 to 2020. The data and methodological section of the study details the procedures and measures used to investigate the impact of ICT on workers' productivity in Nigeria. An empirical model is used to uncover the nexus between the scored variables and the other potential two variables which may affect productivity. The study uses Cobb-Douglas production function in examining the link between the variables. The variables are gross fixed capital, employment growth, ICT, and ICT, where the dependent variable, Y, is the output, A is the level of technology that represents ICT, K is the capital input, incorporated in the production process. L is the labor input. T is the time trend. The study uses annual time series data from 1990 to 2020 of Nigeria. So therefore, workers' productivity will be a dependent variable. ICT, physical capital, and employment will be our explanatory variables. Then we took our data from economic database, World Bank database, Conference Board total economy data. This session discusses the descriptive statistics. The ARDL model is a symmetric time series model in which both the dependent and independent variables are related, not only in contemporaneity, but also to previous lag values. The findings that there is a long relationship between the dependent variable and the explanatory variable with 8.19 as the F statistic value, which is higher than the upper bound critical value at 1%, we concluded that there is a long-run relationship between the variables. According to Emeka and Kevin 2016, the thumb rule for the long run co-integrates if the F statistic value is larger than the upper bound critical value, then there exists a long-run relationship between the variables. The error correction is performed to determine the short-run relationship. The findings from the ECM records that there's a negative and statistical significance between the mean explanatory variable in the short run. But the findings from the ARDL in the long run bond test indicates a positive and significant relationship between ICT growth rate and workers' productivity. Intuitively, in the long run, more investment in ICT assets will boost the rate at which workers produce and workers' efficiency. Therefore, ICT will contribute positively to workers' mobility and will help upsurge the productivity in growing economies in the long run. In conclusion, the relation from short-run estimation of the ARDL contradicts with most of the previous studies, in which the findings shows a positive relationship, while the study's revelation in the long run concords these previous studies, which appears to have a positive relationship with workers' productivity. It suggests and recommends that further studies should be conducted to ascertain more insight and impact knowledge as this reveals a spotlight for future research. Also, further studies can be open to other African countries.